Hey guys, Mike here, and welcome to another episode of Mike's Minutes Motorland. Today I've got a good friend of mine here, Mark, and you've probably seen his name come up in some of our racing and our results, and sometimes even winning some of our races here. And so today we're going to go through a few questions and hopefully get to know a bit more about young Mark. So welcome Mark, welcome to here. This is a different experience for us both. Having a live video chat here and trying to ask some personal questions to find out a bit more about him. So, welcome, Mark.
Thank you, Mike. Welcome to everyone out there in fantasy digital land, watching YouTube.
So, we'll start with the age-old question of age. So, Mark, I've written down here, what is your age and how old are you? Or how do you identify with your age?
I'm 69 years of age, going on 12. That would be probably fairly accurate.
So you're just a beginner then?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Right. And the next question then leads into how long have you been into slot cars?
Two distinct areas of my life. When I was very young, probably from the ages of around about 9 to 14, I was very keen. Then life sort of gets in the way and interrupts a few things, and I had it on and off. I kept my stock cars and occasionally bring them out. But then about 2010, 2011, via a strange set of circumstances, I got back into it. And in fact, it was my wife's fault.
Oh.
She was said, you should get your stock car set out again, because we had a few wayward kids in our neighbourhood and we thought we might see if we could find a way of getting them to be interested in something.
It's a good idea.
And so we set it up in my place and we got it out again. And then as soon as I got it to run, I go, this is very old and rubbish. Let's go and get some new stuff. And from that moment on, it went, it became slightly obsessive.
You became hooked, and it's all your wife's fault.
It's Debbie's fault. It's not mine. It's not. Yeah, I'm innocent.
I like to hear that. Okay, so then it leads into the next question. Do you remember your first slot cars and when?
Funny you should say that, because here I have in my show and tell something I prepared earlier.
Something you prepared earlier?
Right. Yes, I actually remember it very well because my father, completely unknown to me, I didn't even ask this, but my father had bought me a Scale X-Trick slot car set when I was very young.
Is that said correctly?
And
is that said correctly? Scale X-Trick, Scale
X-Trick, Scale X-Trick, whatever.
I've got to get it right.
Scaly.
That we all understand what Scaly is.
And it was a simple figure eight, probably the cheapest, probably all he could afford, to be honest. Formula Junior. Look, Formula Junior. Now, I know you've got a couple of
these. Yes, I've just...
But, look, how cute are they?
Yes.
And they're complete rubbish. But I love them to bits.
So how long have you had these, then?
Since about 1965, when they came out. So...
Right.
So these are the first two cars. Yes, I've put numbers and things on them when I was a kid and painted the wheels silver and blah, blah. But I learnt on this because they kept on breaking down and you had to clean the motors, replace the braids, replace the engine brushes because they would melt the brushes.
Yep.
The tyres were rubbish, and you actually had a real achievement if you could get it to go around radius 1 curves, Scale X-Trick ones, which are nasty, horrible things, with no grip.
So, are these not the Ackerman steering ones?
Yeah.
Oh, they are? Okay.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I'll do it this way.
Yeah.
They used to have, sometimes you could put little rubber bands on them, but I don't bother with that anymore.
Okay. So you've had them since
1965.
Right, and I found some recently on eBay or somewhere that I bought about a year ago because they are a classic car that a lot of people grew up with, and I now have two as well.
Well, I've collected about, I don't know, about 8 of them. Sorry, but I've got a few of them, and I had to put new motors in nearly all of them. I found a stock of new old stock motors from Jed.
Okay.
And because I burnt motors out, you just did, because they were a very weak motor, and you just overheated them basically, burnt them out.
You were going too fast.
No, I just overheated them. They never went fast at all.
So out of your first cars that you've bought,
Yeah.
Do you have a favourite between then and now, and why is it your favourite?
At the time, and then it wasn't too many years later, I actually ended up working in a hobby shop which sold slot cars.
Okay.
And I then, with my own money, was able to buy some. So I bought a couple of the ones that I bought, and dreadful things they were, but that's one of them. That is a scale extric made in, let me just check with the old glasses. I think it's actually made in England. No, made in Spain, correction. This is one of the Spanish ones. Again, really weird, big, huge, open
can motors.
Open can motor,
Yep.
with the brushes that you could replace in 5 seconds if you needed to.
Yep.
It isn't actually a model of anything really.
So it's a generic car?
It's a kind of thing. It was basically the H16 BRM, but badly proportioned. And they never had wings like that on them, so it was a kind of a.
So that's one of
thing.
your favourite cars.
It was one of the ones I remember buying with my own money.
Yep.
And so that.
So you can remember
I can remember buying it, and I also bought 2 AC Cobras, but this one ended up getting highly modified with.
Don't tell people it's modified.
It's not matching numbers. No.
It's stock standard straight out of the box.
Stock standard with I detuned the motor, but it's got BRM wheels and made my own exhaust, which are significantly more sexy than the original ones that were on there. And I just love it. That is a keeper.
Yes, I would have to agree with that. I have a similar car, but mine is race condition and it's quite poor.
Yeah.
Thank you very much for showing us those ones.
I love it. It's
Okay.
really, really cute.
Yep.
But I've got others.
You've got others.
But I've got others. Where are we up on the plan of things? Because, okay, these were early days.
Yes.
And you said, what are my favourites and why? This is what got me restarted. So back when I mentioned how
your wife coerced you.
My wife said, listen, go and get some more cars. And I went up to, actually it was Brunchline Hobbies in Bayswater. And I came across this and I saw this there and I thought, been years since I've even looked at slot cars. And I go, what the dickens? This is a beautiful model, let alone the fact that it actually works as a slot car. And that all of the transfer, no longer silly stickers and transfers, it's all beautifully printed onto it, and the detail, I couldn't believe it. Even you can see even inside, you've got the map notes and everything.
Yep.
Yep. So there was an amazing amount of detail, and I was so mesmerized by this. This actually hooked me. This is the one that really got me back into it.
When you look at it as a like you say a detailed model, it's pretty awesome, mate.
You can, if you took the guide off it, you can just sit it in a cabinet, and it's a lovely little model. It's yeah.
And it's impressive to know that it's still got its lights and its mud flaps and everything on, because if I'd raced that,
I should have bought. This is actually okay. Confession time. This is the Mark II version of it, because I've had 2 of exactly the same livery, because I ruined the first one by racing it.
Yes.
Which you do.
You lose your lights and things like that.
Yeah, but I've also.
Oh no! Here he goes. This is going to be a long video.
Sorry, yeah. You want 10 minutes? Yeah.
10 questions.
Get yourselves comfortable. Get. I'm going to bore you to tears.
I'm just looking in there. I haven't seen some of these, maybe.
What got me really, get me really fired up was when I was a kid. My dad took me to Sandown at a Tasman series.
Yes.
And I saw, with my own little eyes, I saw Graham Hill, Jock and Rindt, Chris Amon driving cars that they'd brought out from Europe.
Wow.
And these were the type Lotus 49s. I saw Graham Hill run. And this is actually, I saw him the year after when they were in this livery with the wings, these dangerous wings that tried to kill everyone. But I particularly remember seeing Chris Amon in a little Dino Ferrari, and then second was Jock and Rindt in one of these types of things. So because of that, the history then starts to galvanise my interest, and I buy models that I said, look, I've seen these things drive and seen these racers race, and suddenly I've got to have a model of it.
Yes. And I'm like you. If somebody asked me what my favourite car was, I would have to go through stages of this is my favourite at this time, and now this is my favourite now. So I can really relate to your reasons for that. And you're going to show us
weirdly, I got into this. Was even like, yes, this is my era. I said the Lotus 49, so late 60s. But I've got a real passion for these old front-engined 1950s to 1960s Formula One.
Yes.
So there's scale electric, or down the bottom here we have some Cartrix. We've got a couple of the Cartrix ones here.
Beautiful.
So,
and he's let me race these, and these go really nice.
You must have raced this one because it's got a missing mirror.
Yeah.
That must have been you, wasn't it?
Yeah, my nickname is Missing Mirror Mike.
Now, here's an aside for all of you interested people. Which one is the real British racing green?
Oh, see, growing up, I would always call the dark green as the British racing green.
Both British racing green.
Oh, okay.
It had to be. All it had to be was green. There's no such colour as British racing green, other than the fact it had to be green.
And it was
that
a British
is
car.
As much British racing green as was that.
Okay.
So there we go. That's just blowing that myth apart.
Leave them all out.
Leave them all out.
Yep.
And
all right then. Oh, hang on. We haven't finished yet. Sorry. He's got more cars to go.
Well, I spent 5 years on a pit crew, a Formula 2 pit crew. During that time, we were on the tracks around Australia, whether it be Sandown, or Calder, Phillip Island, Winton, or we at the time we went up to Oran Park up in Sydney, where it was running, it no longer runs.
Yep.
And so you saw a lot of the Australiana, a lot of the Australian cars, and you rub shoulders with these people. So that immediately then, again, is that connection that draws you back to the car.
So you've got real car racing history that also feeds your slot car racing passion.
Look at that, the front bumper's just come off Alan Moffat's Mustang and Bob Jane's Camaro. So
Beautiful.
Yes, I saw these guys, and they were in the pits. They were close by. We were in the pits. You know, they're only sort of where you're rubbing your elbows with them, and so this then brings all of that kind of nostalgia back to you.
And slot cars, for me, is all about passion. And if real car racing history is your passion, and it carries over into slot cars, and
Mini,
and everybody's had a Mini at some stage, just about. So there we go. There's a selection of your favourite cars.
There is a selection of but it changes with the weather. Yes. I have different days when different things do.
Yes.
Get my going, and sometimes it'll be the sports cars. I had a particular love of early Can-Am sports cars.
Yes, they were really nice looking cars.
They were interesting. They got a bit weird at the end, but the very early ones, I've like these kind of interesting things. Both MRC chassis cars. I think one's a Carrera, but one's MRC. Really like these. And then in historic racing, I've actually seen some of these run in historic racing in the States when I was over there. So you get to see the real thing that you've got models of, which is great.
Very nice.
Yeah,
very nice. So on that, you've brought a few cars to us.
Yep.
And the next question is, how many slot cars do you have in your current collection?
What's the likelihood of my wife watching this?
Because it's on YouTube and it's quite nerdy, probably not.
Probably not much.
No.
282.
282 exactly. He's written down.
Approximately 282.
Yeah. And then we've got like what percentage of racing cars to actual collection?
Of that 282, 48 are designated as race cars.
So you've got a lot of shelf queens.
No, they all get used. Nothing stays on the shelf. Every single car I've got has got performance tyres on it.
More mileage on it.
And they've done mileage, but they would have done careful mileage.
Yes.
I don't give them to the grandkids to play with.
He doesn't give them all to me because they'll come back with missing mirrors.
And I don't let Mike drive them all.
All right.
He can have the same ones the grandkids can have.
Yes. So what is it that you enjoy most about slot cars? It's gone quiet.
No, well, I think I probably already answered it. I actually enjoy the association of the history.
Yes, I can sense that from your collection I've seen.
I can't afford the real thing.
I can't afford the real thing.
Hey, I can turn around and say to someone, listen, I've got 16 Porsches in my collection. And yeah, I have. So
and I agree with that, because part of the passion and enjoyment I get out of the slot cars is having cars that I followed as well. When you put them on the shelf, or you just use them for yourself, you're driving around. It's a good part of the hobby.
Well, I do like them where they actually are particular models or particular cars, but raced at a particular event. I don't like generic ones.
Oh, yeah.
So occasionally I'll buy a generic one just to run, because I know it's a competition-based thing, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah, and you have to race that car in that class.
But if I was collecting, then the fact that this was a correctly liveried car for a particular race meeting with a particular driver, yeah, that's history. That's where we're reenacting the history of it.
That's awesome. Yeah.
Bit nerdy.
Yes. So on that, then, you've been racing slot cars for a while.
Mm-hmm.
What's your most memorable moment in the last few years of racing?
Not coming last. Probably the most memorable moment was when I realised I'd graduated into the A grade classes, where people said, "Oh, look, we now have to watch out for you. You're no longer a C and a D grade runner.
Not just a turn up.
Just not just a journeyman, but you're actually someone we now actually have to be slightly careful of."
So being classed as a competitive racer is something that's something that you've achieved from being a turn up basher, crasher to and I would have to admit that he is one that we always watch here. He sneaks along behind us, keeps us going sometimes, beats Lloyd sometimes. Just going to put that in there.
Don't beat Mike, hardly ever.
Oh, you should. Yeah. Yes, there's a video of him beating me, so yeah, watch that.
Yeah, watch it lots.
And on that, then, that you've obviously raced a lot of places.
Yep.
Obviously, you've raced different groups. And do you have a favourite track or a group that you've raced with over the years? Also, memorable achievements for that?
Yeah, probably my time spent down in when I was in Melbourne. Obviously, we've moved to the country now, and we raced at Jed's track in Preston, and the guys there and the track and everything. That was a heap of fun.
Yes, no, I've raced at Jed's as well, and it was good fun.
It was good fun. Great guys there, and the group, the remnant of that group, is still running, and they're still a bunch of great guys. And it's fun to go down and race with them still occasionally, which I have done. So it's more the group rather than the track. And the other one, which I can't get to very much, is up here racing with you guys.
Okay.
But
thank you for that.
And I particularly like your track. Compared, and there's another one. There's a track I've raced on that I really like, but it's no longer, well, at the moment it's not in service, but I wish it was again. Dirk, get your track going. I love your track, mate. If you ever watch this,
Dirk,
fabulous track. I love Dirk's track. That's one of my all-time favourite tracks. Believe it or not.
Nice. Well, thank you that you enjoy racing on this one. That's awesome then. And then I've got a little bit of a double-edged question here, and it's called, who is or was your best/worst rival competitor?
Worst rival competitor is anyone who can't keep their car straight. So,
and also, mind you, he does mention about having mirrors and windscreen wipers and bumpers on my cars. I have to admit that.
Racing with where cars don't look anything like what they're supposed to because the wings are gone off them or whatever, and annoys me. But people who look, there's very few people I've disliked racing, and most of them I have liked racing with, to be honest. But the annoying thing is people who can't keep the car straight and keep punting you off into the scrubbery.
Yes.
That's my only real gripe. Other than that, I don't care. We're fun. It's good fun.
Oh, awesome.
So,
great.
Yep.
And we're into what do you have plans for the future of slot cars?
Well, as you've seen my track, it is scale electric. I've got two. Got the classic track. I've got a small classic track and a sports track. Is it great track? No, but it's what I've got and I enjoy it, and it's got scenery. So
Yes.
it has movable scenery. It's nothing's fixed, so I can change layouts. Scale electric buildings and trees and people and grandstands and
It's fun.
It's fun. It's just I like that sort of the ambience of it.
Yes, it's a nice social home environment,
Yeah.
and it's very detailed and it's good. It's fun to race on, and it's enjoyable.
It's only a 2-lane, and it's not great for racing because you can't pass easily. It's a very narrow track. It's not brilliant. So that's me at the moment, but I would love to also have something a bit more along the lines of what you've got here, and a Mr. Tracks would be on the agenda.
Yes, well, that's
At least of consideration. So
awesome. Well, thank you for your time, Mark.
pleasure, my friend.
Hopefully you've shared some insights to me, to our group that we race with here, and to the general greater community of slot cars. I hope you've enjoyed this, learn to beat yourself, and we'll catch you again sometime. Thank you.
Bye.